We're just going to run through a little bit about how to use an Ableton Live Push. Like I said before, I'm a huge fan of this thing. I use it all the time. I actually was thinking about not bringing it with me to Colombia, and then I was like, what are you doing, Tony? That's just going to be crazy. You should definitely take it with you to Colombia. So I brought it with me to Colombia, even though it's huge. I brought it with me. And so I've got that. I've got the Push. I've got the Mini Lab. So I use them in conjunction with each other. Ashley says maybe even upgrade to Live 11 for the CPU monitor. No, there's a CPU monitor in Live 8. There was. It's the CPU monitor in Live 11 is whatever. It's pretty cool, but it's, I mean, do you really need to use it? Like this little button right here? Maybe, I don't know. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna make a new track. Yeah, let's save that stuff. Sure, why not? So I got a new track here, and what we're going to do is we're going to start off with making some drum loops here. And it's really hard to see with the lights the way they are. You're not going to be able to see these pads light up properly, but it's pretty cool to watch. And I'm going to I'm going to kind of talk through everything as I do it. So first things first, I'm going to go in and I'm going to grab a drum kit in here. Let's just grab an 808 kit. I'm going to drag it onto here and let's put our tempo. Now I can adjust my tempo right here with this knob over here, and you can see on my screen it adjusts the tempo right there. I can turn my metronome on and off. I can hit play so we can hear the metronome there. I could adjust the level of my metronome by the master volume is over here on the right hand side. I can hold down shift down here in the corner, and you can't, it's really hard to read it, but it does say Q volume over here. And the thing is, whenever you touch the knobs on here, they show you immediately, it lights things up. And I know it's hard to see because of the light that's going on with this room right now, but everything does light up. These are like touch sensitive. Basically, when you touch it, it shows you what it does for all these knobs here because it's using the kind of electrical charge that's in your hand. So here's this. So here's my drum beat. Now down here, it's amazing. This thing is super intuitive. So down here in the lower right-hand corner, these pads, this is a grid of 64 pads. This lower corner down here is gonna play my drums. If I push the accent button over here, my pads are no longer touch sensitive. And it just plays it loud, which I often will do for drum stuff, especially for my kick and my snare drums. I don't really need them to be touch sensitive. So what I can do here is I'm going to go ahead and use this fixed length button right here. This button right here says fixed length. If I hold it down, it says my recording length is 2 bars right here. I can change it to 1 bar, 2 beats, whatever. I'm going to keep it at 2 bars. I'm going to leave my fixed length turned on. So now when I hit record, it's going to automatically just make a clip that's 2 bars long, and I can go ahead and record into it. So I'm going to hit go, 2, 3, 4. And I just played that in. Now we can see that it's a little bit off. Obviously I didn't do a great job playing it. So what I can do is I can hold down my quantize button and I can set my quantize amount. Let's set that to 50%. 16th notes is great. So if I hit quantize, it's gonna go ahead and put it over here. Now this one here, I still have to touch my screen here because I played so poorly. There we go. And I'm just gonna hit it a couple more times. Now if I wanna record over that, what I can do is I can find the other sound that I wanna record, turn off my accent. So that's one way. I can record it in like this. So I just hit the record button here and it's gonna turn red, which again, you probably can't see. Oops, I didn't record enough. There we go. And I can record that in. But what I can also do, I'm gonna undo this. There's an undo button up here. I'm gonna hit the undo button a couple times. There we go. Now I'm gonna put this in a slightly different way. I'm gonna turn off my metronome also. Don't need the metronome. And what I can do is if I hold down this layout button over here, if I push it in rather, it says drums 16 velocities. So I choose my drum, and over here now, these 16 pads here are my different velocities. And I can record that in, right, like this. Cool, quantize it. And now I've got a nice little velocity type of thing that I did by playing in different notes. Now I can choose this sound right here. And what I can do is I can program this in using this up here. This up here is a sequencer pattern. So this sequencer pattern, I just go here like this, choose my velocity I want, and now I can put in different velocities. Like that. Let's put in some more. Cool. Sounds good. Let's do yeah, cool. Do that here. Cool. Let's do this one like this. There we go. So I can build my beat up like this. And you can see everything kind of going in here into my screen here. Great. So now let's do this. Let's get a different track going on. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to push down across the bottom here. It shows me what my different tracks are. I'm going to push my MIDI number 2 track here. So it's just my MIDI track. And I'm going to go to add a device, which is this button right here. I'm going to click on that. And now all my collections are here. I've got a bunch of collections like set up. So I'm going to go in here to my instruments here. And let's go in here to my sub that's mapped out. And I'm going to hit load like that. And now I can play my sub, and I give it a second, it's got to load it up. There we go. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and close these things off my screen. You can set up so they actually don't come onto your screen like that. I'm going to turn off the sidechain amount. And I'm going to change my scale. Okay, so all my notes, and it's hard to see on here, but basically, I've got my scales here. And here, I'm going to go ahead and stop that for a second. If I hold down my scale button over here, I've got a list of all these different scales in here. I can turn the knob to get different scales. Let's go ahead and use a minor pentatonic scale, which is a great one. And I'm going to put it into the key of F minor. So now, there we go. I got that there. I can adjust some things in here. I've got, yeah. There we go. Cool. Let's get that. Nice. I'm going to turn the mix down a little bit here. I can hit the mix button. Nice. Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to go back to my other one here, my 808 core device, and I've got my kick drum here. The kick drum, I need to go in here. I'm going to go ahead and take this kick drum here and let's adjust the decay so it's not quite as long, because I don't want that to be quite as long, because we're going to put the 808 in there. There we go. So now I'm going to go back to my other track and we'll go to mix, and it doesn't really matter. There we go. There we go. Cool. So now hit play. And I'll go ahead and quantize it in. I mean, not quantize. I'll hit the record button. It's going to record the fixed length of 2 bars. There we go. Awesome. Cool. Now what I can do is I can add another track into here. So I'm going to add track by pushing this button right here. And let's make a MIDI track. We'll add some instruments in from our collections here. Automatically lets me add stuff in. If I have everything set up, it's going to be really nice the way it lets me add stuff in. So let's add in a big pluck. Now, it's in the same key. I'm going to go here to my mix. I'm going to turn it down. device and I can mess around with my device. As long as I have everything set up, you can see I've got stuff set up in here. I can just easily mess with stuff, I can say. Now here's a live 11 thing, is that if I change my knobs, and I like this as a sound with these macro controls here, I can click new right here, and it makes a new one, and I'll call this one Spiky. Spiky. There we go, because it's got a little spike on the beginning. And so now I can recall that setting back. I can go back to my soft one here. I can go to the long one here. Or I can change it to this one here, which is super, super cool. Now let's say I want to add a device onto this. Let's put like a limiter thing on here, like a multi-band compressor. Yes, Paw Dog says, so it's giving you a macro area now, sort of like Massive has always done. So I want to say that Live 8 also has macros, but the difference here is that it's kind of like more like Reactor than Massive. Massive has the macros, right? But Reactor, when you have an instrument in there, you know how it has those like snapshots and all it's doing is just changing the knobs on the screen? Well, that's what this is doing here. So Ableton Live has always had the macros for a long, long time in their groups. I think since like Live 7 or something like that, 6 maybe. But what they added into this one now is, first of all, I can have 16 macros. And then second of all, I can save what they call macro variations. And the macro variations allow me to save different settings of those to recall them really quick. I've been using this a ton. I've really been enjoying this. So, all right. So in here, we've got this. So let me go ahead and add an instrument in here. So I'm going to add an instrument, and we're going to use a EQ compressor. Let's use the Pet filter simple on mapped. Pro Q3. Yeah, just use the limiter here. That's fine. And then the limiter is going to come up here. So we're going to put that limiter in here. There we go. Cool. I couldn't tell, was the dog in key or not? It sounded like she may have been in key. Dog, don't stop barking at things outside. Cool. Poor dog. Puppy, what are you barking at? What's going on over there? You should lay down in the sun. It's really nice and sunny right where you are right now. Oh, puppy. All right. Anyway, so this is basically how we can use the push. Come here, pups. Come here. Come here, schmoopers. Schmooper pups. Puppy. Well, if you want to stay over there, it's cool, but stop barking. You're interrupting my lesson. Okay. So, where was I? All right. So one last thing in here that's really useful for stuff. Puppy. Hold on a second. Let me go grab her and calm her down real quick. I will be right back. I love the comments. Put a T-Pain vocoder on it. Yeah. She was trying to sing along. She was almost there. This is the puppy, by the way. Oh, she little schmoopers. She is not a morning dog. She like wakes up and she's just like, I don't want to get up and do stuff. She's a cutie. All right. Go back down and stop barking at things. I shouldn't have put her down. Why did you go down there? Pops. You want some banana? Here, come here. Come here. Hey. Puppy. Puppy. Okay, whatever. Banana. All right. I've been feeding my Sample Luna and bark back. Absolutely. All right. So just one last thing I want to show you on here, and it's hard to see, is the mix stuff over here. If I push the mix button, all these knobs become mix knobs for the for my levels of things. So I can adjust the levels on my screen with adjusting these knobs right here. Cool. And I can select which track I'm going to put it on. She almost got tangled up in all the wires. Okay, so in here, let's put something on this drums. So I got my drums here, and add device, and go over here to my groups. Drum group slate. Yeah, move this up. And I can mute stuff as well. I can go here and mute. There we go. Cool. Nice. There we go. Give a little something there on the sound. Turn the volume up on it. There we go. Turn my sub back on. There we go. Get a rough little mix going on here. There we go. Cool. And so it's easy to mix everything right here. Paw Dog says, was that the Abbey Road compressor? No, that was the virtual tape from Slate, which I'm a really big fan of. I like the way it sounds a whole lot. I really like these Slate plugins a lot. The only thing I don't love about the Slate plugins is that, here, let me just make it bigger here. There we go. The only thing I don't love about the Slate compressors is Slate stuff is that you have to be connected to the internet with this subscription. And sometimes I find myself wanting to work on stuff where I'm not connected to the internet. So, yeah, meh. I did recently buy all the FabFilter stuff, and I got some other things that we can go over at some point as well. And I've been using the FabFilter stuff for some neat things. There's some really cool stuff you can do with the FabFilter saturator. What do they call it? Where is it? Let me go see real quick. I always forget what these things are called. FabFilter. The Saturn II. This thing is dope. I'm really a big fan of it. And then also the multiband compressor. I haven't made a group with them. I don't think. I need to go ahead and save a group, which I haven't done yet, which is crazy. But yeah, please go over FabFilter. Oh, that's funny. Here, I can show you a couple things with FabFilter real quick. So here, let me just stop the recording though.